when, as a parent, should you start having talks about sex and gender with your kids?
I think you should start having talks before your child can talk. When they're teeny tiny and you're naming body parts, fingers, toes, nose, elbows, feet, um, name vulva and penis as well. We start learning before we have words, so we need to start having these conversations before our children have words.
Also, as a parent, it takes less pressure off, right? You're not waiting for this one moment, you're broaching the subject early.
Yes, and you're having age-appropriate conversation all along, so that as challenges and things do come up for parents and children, um, they know that they can come and talk to you, and you can talk to them.
And you're learning the language early.
You're
You're
learning
only
the
going to get
language
better by
early,
doing something.
and it's crazy. If you know how to name your body parts, you get to own your body parts. So if something uncomfortable happens and you have the appropriate name for all of your parts, you can talk to a parent about this thing happened and someone touched this part. It's not a mystery. So words are important.
And when do you go from really naming biology to getting more specific with questions around sex and identity?
I think we start, I think those conversations are those 1,001 minute conversations about answering questions for your kids when they have them, about, um, when they're 3 or 4 and playing outside in the pool with their cousin or something, and they're like, why is theirs different? That's a great opportunity to talk about body parts are different, or is gender different? Is this a boy body or a girl body? Um, if there's a small human who has a male body and wants to wear a dress, that might create questions. How do we have conversations about that? Is that normal to explore? That that this child isn't fitting into whatever we think the gender norm is. So instead of shaming and saying, go put on regular clothes, being curious, like, this can be fun. What do you think about it?
And when is it normal for a kid to start discovering their body?
I think, well, if we look at research, babies are discovering their bodies in the womb. Bodies feel good. They have no shame. They touch where they want to touch. And that continues. They learn shame from us as parents, or adults in their lives. So I think it's appropriate to have those conversations all along, and we just talk about boundaries, like public parts and private parts, and what are the differences, what are the boundaries, how do we be safe.
And how do you have those conversations about what's safe and what's boundaries without putting shame on an action or a body part?
I think we talk about we talk about the difference between public and private parts, right? Public parts are the parts of our body that everybody can see. Private parts are the parts that we cover with clothes. And we say, when you're home in your room, your parts are your parts. When you come out in the living room, we want if this is a rule in our house, that your private parts are covered. If you want private time with your parts, then that's what your room is for. I mean, we have all of these rules for our kids in school, in life. When they go to the grocery store, you can't strip off your clothes and run naked up the hall in Walmart. So, I mean, kids are already aware that there are some things that can happen in public and things that are private. So it's just kind of being more explicit about that, in a way that says it is your body, you get to own your body, and there are times and places for private exploration versus public.